What's up, YouTube? Capital G. Alright, it is that time. We're going to do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Hierarchy, the top 5 decks of the format. I told you guys I would do this periodically. I'm probably going to do it about every 2 weeks because, you know, we got YCS regionals in between sets and just a lot of different things going on that make this list constantly update. 5th place, we have Dino Rabbit. I threw Dino Rabbit back in here, booted out Samurai. I know in the last video I said that I thought that Samurai was kind of replacing Dino Rabbit. Here's my reasoning. I do think that the turn 1 Xian is more consistent than the turn 1 LAGGIA, but I can't ignore the fact that Dino Rabbit it keeps on sneaking in that top 8 of these YCSs. I mean, the deck had a pretty decent finish at YCS India, got top 8 at YCS Rhode Island, and you know, the biggest factor might be the fact that macro slash D-Fissure looks like it's really gonna come back for Dino Rabbit, in my personal opinion. You know, I look at the Mermills and I think, well, damn, that deck can't do anything if you have D-Fissure up. It can't do anything if you have macro up. Macro already wrecks Chaos Dragons. It already hurts Dark World. You know what I mean? I look at Dino Rabbit and I think the fact that Mermill Atlanteans should be a very highly played tier 1 deck, I think is only going to increase the playability of Dino Rabbit. I mean, DOLKKA and LAGGIA didn't become bad cards overnight. Not to mention the fact that Snowman Eater is kind of evaporated. I mean, maybe the Snowman melted because of all this warm weather we have down here in the south, but Snowman Eater is starting to see a lot less play, which make those LAGGIA plays a lot safer. So I've got Dino Rabbit in my 5th place spot because of recent tournament results and also because of the possibility of its macro essence just being really good in the upcoming weeks. 4th place, I've got Agents. Slim was a lot higher on Agents than I was. I personally don't think Agents are as good as a lot of people think. I think that the deck's kind of limited, but there is one thing about Agents that I do like. The deck has very good opening plays. The deck can play, if you have the Venus play, you can play around a turn 1 Thunder King very easily because they have to negate the Gotchi or get run over by a 2000 attack Venus. The fact that Hyperion is at 3 just gives the deck a ton of playability. Like, you know what Agents reminds me of? It reminds me of a much more controlled version of LIGHTSWORN. It's like you can get to your, you know, you have your boss monster and you don't have to worry about milling it. You still have the honest plays. You have those big ass chaos beaters that you can drop at any given time because the deck can run chaos cards very easily. The deck has a Behemoth and Christia, which it can drop situationally, but generally when you drop Christia, unless you attack into a D prison, you're probably going to win, especially a lot of times if you get Honest back. So I look at Agents as also a deck that can end the game quite quickly, and true to form, this format is starting to be a lot less trap heavy. You know, you're looking at a format to where if you can run a very small amount of traps, you're definitely going to be in a good position. And, you know, I just think that the amount of success that Agents have had right now, you can't really ignore it. I also love Herald of the Orange Light. The fact that it can just stop anything. It doesn't matter where it activates. It's basically like a hand version of DOLKKA. So I've got Agents in my 4th place spot. 3rd place, I've got Windups. Go ahead, hit that dislike button because you know you wanted Windups to be first, but it's not. I'm sorry. I told you guys going into YCS Rhode Island, I thought that Windups were losing ground. I never in my wildest imaginations did I think that they would lose this much ground. I mean, let's be honest, guys. I don't even think they cracked top 8 at YCS Rhode Island. I mean, the deck was about as impressive as Mitt Romney was in his last presidential debate. I mean, oh my God. My boy Big O just fucking destroyed him. Okay, but that is neither here nor there. I think that Windups, you know what? Another reason why I had to boot down Windups, not just because they did abysmal at YCS Rhode Island, you know, barely cracking top 16, but if you look at the upcoming format, I see that Mermill matchup as being a nightmare because Windups commit everything to the board when they're trying to go off. Mermills basically don't commit anything to the board. The only thing they commit to the board is that one monster who, you know, when it's destroyed, you just get another card, or you just get another, you summon another Mermill or summon another Atlantean. So I look at Windups and I'm like, you kind of had your time to shine. You could, you know, you're only off 1 YCS win. Probably should have got 2. You know, I don't think 3 was out of your range. Some way or another, Chaos Dragons seem to constantly be outpacing this deck, which is a matchup I do like, but it's like windups are just finding a way to lose. You know, people are saying, oh, it's the hand chop effect, and maybe that's so because Thunder King is starting to fall out of favor, and windups are still not seeing the level of success that I think that the best deck of the format should see. Second place, I feel better about my second place pick than I did last time around. I got Chaos Dragons as number 2. A lot of you guys questioned it, and I kind of had to talk myself into it. But the results don't lie. You know, you look at Chaos Dragons, they got top 8 at YCS Indy. They end up getting second place at YCS Rhode Island. And this is just a deck where it's just straight up meat and potatoes. This deck plays like a deck from Legends of Blue Eyes where you just summon a bunch of big beat sticks and attack, 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 attack. I look at it and I'm like, it doesn't have any particular bad matchup. But I don't see a lot of decks outside of like Heroes where it should dominate, but some way it just does. I mean, I can't really explain why Chaos Dragons are so good. You know, they lost the Red Eyes, they lost the Future Fusion. Eclipse Wyvern is not nearly as good as it was. This is a deck where the arrow should be pointing down, but, you know, just summoning, there's something about just summoning a whole stream of 2400s and blowing up your opponent's back rows that, you know, the deck just constantly has nothing but success. So I have to definitely put Chaos Dragons as my number 2 spot because the results are just saying that it's good. Although I do kind of wonder about the Mermail matchup. You know, I'm not sure how Ryko and LYLA are going to be that effective in that matchup. Although Mike Pulsar Dragon looks like he can definitely be a behemoth in that matchup because they really won't have any easy ways to kill him. And my number 1, I've got Geargia. Geargia, I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment. Now, some of you guys might say, Capital G, how in the frack can you have Geargia as number 1 when the fact that you didn't even have this in your top 5? Guys, I told you before, it wasn't because I thought Geargia was a bad deck. I just wanted to see it do it more. And, you know, I picked Geargia to win the event. Now, Geargia has it's shown it to me, and it's shown me that it can win that event. I don't really know if Geargia is overall the most powerful deck. In fact, you know what? I don't think it is. But as far as just consistency, grinding out games, it's probably the best. You look at that Karakuri version and, whoo boy, you can't ever be caught sleeping against that deck because you can get OTK'd. Like, the deck can either, you know, make the rank 4 Xyz, or it can just drop Karakuri after Karakuri. The deck can play Mind Control very effectively, so it can now spill your monsters and either exceed with them or synchro with them. Another thing is, it's like Photon, one of the most powerful things about Photon Butterfly is the fact that your opponent can have like a Spirit Reaper face down or a little monster face down and protect themselves. Not against Karakuri. I mean, I have had times where they just berate you to death. So it's like there's no hiding for that big 2600 beater, and, you know, let alone if they start bringing out Barreto, drawing cards, and so on and so forth. So I've got Geargia in here. I'm not sure how long Geargia are going to be able to sustain this. I think if Dark World don't see a lot of play, that's good for Geargia. I don't think that they have that much problems with windups. The Chaos Dragon matchup seems like it could be a little bit of a problem. I think it's more predicated on how many back row Geargia can hit early. I think they pretty much have it all over agents, and I don't think the Dino Rabbit matchup is really that much of a problem because Geargia can just kind of one-for-one the deck to death, kind of like old school Gadget style. Although the Karakuri version might struggle a little more with the Dino Rabbit matchup. So that's my top 5. After Mermails come out and we start seeing them in YCSs, this is obviously going to change because I have a high belief in that deck. But tell me what you guys think, and of course, you know, go ahead and say, oh, Capital G, you're an idiot because you didn't like this deck, or so on and so forth. Thank you guys for watching, as always.